Thank you for tuning in to tonight's game. Your game is coming up next. But here's some information from the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
6 easy ways to become an MVP. And by MVP, we mean most valuable parent. Like all of us, the parents of high school athletes tend to protect their children from adversity, or they overly involve themselves by advocating for their success. But when they do, they're negating the value of participating in high school sports. Among other lessons, high school sports teach teenagers to take nothing for granted, how to overcome obstacles, and that an extraordinary commitment of time and effort is required in order to reach goals and experience achievement. High school sports also encourage independence and self-sufficiency, attributes that are needed to be successful in life. It's natural for parents to love their children, and it's important to support them in as many ways as possible. With this in mind, here are 6 easy ways that you can be the MVP of your child's high school team. Number 1, attend your children's games as often as possible. Nothing demonstrates interest and involvement more than being there. And be sure to invite Grandma and Grandpa to come along with you. Number 2, cheer for all the kids on the team, not just your own. Here's a test for you. Do you know all the players on your child's team? Could you say hello to them by their first name? Embracing the entire team is a great way to show that your interest is sincere. Number 3, be a resource for your child's team. Does a teammate need help with transportation? Is the team trying to raise money for new uniforms? Is someone needed to organize a pizza party before the tournament starts? Maybe you can help. Number 4, try not to criticize the coach or the officials in front of your child. Hey, you're human, and there may be times when you need to vent. But be careful when and to whom you do it. Criticizing the coaching staff undermines its credibility and tends to put your child in the middle. And games are seldom won or lost because of an official's call. Remember, coaches and officials are objective. Most parents are not. Empower your child to talk with the coach about concerns. Everybody wants more playing time, and understandably so. But encourage your children to have that conversation with their coaches instead of you doing it for them. Giving teenagers the confidence and conviction to speak up for themselves is one of the greatest benefits of participating in high school sports. Number 6, focus on the life lessons your children are learning, not on win-loss records or how many points they're scoring. According to the NC2A, only about 2% of all high school athletes win a sports scholarship, and the average value of it is less than $11,000. But every child will benefit from the lessons they've learned as a result of participating in high school sports for the rest of their lives. It's difficult being the parent of a high school athlete. There's far more emotion and social pressure involved than is ideal. But if you follow these 6 pointers, not only will your children love and respect you, but so will their teammates and coaches. And you might even be named MVP. Thank you for your support of high school athletics in Indiana. Stay tuned now. The Indiana SRN game is next. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
Welcome to Week 3 action of the 2020 IHSAA football season. Shane Ryder alongside my partner Joey Lindstrom in the Indiana SRN studios, located on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Producing tonight's broadcast, Casey Pierce, and out doing the dirty work at Covenant Christian High School is our camera woman, Sarah Watson. Joey, Covenant Christian off to a strong start this season. They are 2-0, coming off a couple of blowout wins in both Week 1 and Week 2, 52-14 over Jennings County, a team in Class 3A, and then knocked off another 3A foe last week in Rushville Consolidated High School, 68-6. That was a close game early on. They really separated before halftime.
Yeah, and you mentioned before we even got going that 41 points in the second quarter, and that's monumental. And Covenant Christian obviously has that high-powered offense, and they know how to show it.
Yeah, this is an offense last year. They're under first-year head coach Dan Giedel. Last year they ran an I formation. They had two tailbacks and Trey Flatt, Gage Coffey, both returning, and now they've got a three-headed monster in their backfield. We'll touch more on that in a moment. But they actually switched to a spread offense this year. It was on full display in Week 1 with the 52-point showing. Then they were just 1 point shy of tying the school record a week ago, 68 points against Rushville. We already mentioned the 41-point second quarter. They've got some receivers on the outside that are fast. They're extreme weapons. Their senior quarterback in Austin Frazier, he looks their way early and often. You can touch on those seniors right now in BJ Lomax and Adrian Terry.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to say about these guys? They always have the answer for whatever's in front of them, right? The BJ Lomax and Adrian Terry, we talked before, they are going to be able to line up on the same side or not the same side, and they're going to be able to be weapons anywhere they are on the field. And that's awesome for a guy like Austin Frazier, who is going to be able to read that defense, and he's not going to look to run right away if he has to run at all, because he's got a security blanket in those guys, and he's going to look to him almost all the time, early and often.
Frazier has 7 touchdown passes already this season. The big number, no interceptions. A year ago as a junior signal caller for the Warriors, 15 TDs and 9 picks. He has cleaned it up. He's taken care of the football. Did have a couple of fumbles in Week 1 as part of 4 turnovers offensively for the Warriors, but they cleaned that up last week. They did have 2 fumbles, but they got on both of them. No picks. And again, the 7 TDs, he actually had a scamper as well, a 17-yard touchdown run a week ago to show that if he does need to run, if the pocket breaks down, he can escape the pressure.
Oh, certainly. He's got what it takes to be able to move around and get away from this Crispus Attucks defense today. And what's going to be so important for him is to be able to read that defense, especially when they're playing a 3-4 where they mix coverages a lot. It's going to be imperative that Austin Frazier looks in the right direction, reads his keys, and just is absolutely patient with his receivers and lets them get open and do work.
He's got 3 receivers on the outside that are all seniors. We touched on Lomax and Adrian Terry. The other one is senior Jackson Brew. Frazier doesn't look his way often, but he has caught the ball. He had 3 receptions in Week 1 and in 1 catch a week ago in that big win over Rushville Consolidated. In the backfield, we brought up Trey Flatt and Gage Coffey, who were juniors a year ago, now seniors this year. Coffey missed Week 1, returned last week, 7 carries for 56 yards. Trey Flatt, vice versa. He got the rock in Week 1, actually had a rushing touchdown in that win over Jennings County. He had no carries last week, in part because, well, we're dealing with COVID-19 and everything that 2020 throws our way, and he did not start last week, actually didn't see a carry. He did get a little time defensively from his defensive end spot, where we'll see him often tonight applying pressure on the Crispus Attucks quarterback, but he'll get some carries as well. And then a kid who, well, is new to the program. You've got a transfer coming in and just a senior that is running all over the field. In Week 1, it was like, who is this kid? He was coming off the bench. Granted, they were running away in that win over Jennings County, but Micah Wilson is a name to watch tonight. Number 2 for the Warriors. He had a touchdown run and catch in Week 1 against Jennings County. Both of those over 40 yards on the ground and through the air. And then in Week 2 last week, again, he came off the bench, but he was the leading rusher. 9 carries, 107 in 3 rushing touchdowns. So in 2 weeks' time, a transfer comes in and he's got 5 touchdowns already.
How about that? And you just mentioned it, like the 3-headed monster. Literally, we're going to see it tonight. As you mentioned, Trey Flatt being sick last week, obviously an understandable case due to COVID and everything. Maybe he doesn't have it, obviously, but it was a great decision to not have him play. And Gage Coffey obviously carried the load, and Michael Wilson stepped in there. And it's just so great to see 5 TDs in 2 weeks. Like, what are they going to be? Coach has a hard decision to make on who to give the ball to.
Do you key on the backfield? Because if you look in the backfield a little too long, oh, by the way, we've got BJ Lomax and Adrian Terry heading downfield.
Right. What Crispus Attucks has to do in their 3-4 defense, what they're going to look to do is contain outside and try to rush everything inside. So whether that means trying to rush Frazier and have him just run up the middle so their linebackers can fit, or does it mean trying to stop the run first which will then, as you said, open up the lane for both those receivers, and that's going to be really interesting to see tonight how Crispus Attucks. It seems like Covenant Christian really is pretty unlimited right now, so we'll have to see how they bat.
On paper, this will be the toughest matchup 3 weeks into the season for Covenant Christian. Crispus Attucks on the defensive side of the football. They don't have many players on this varsity team. We just counted them up before we came on air. 23 players suiting up tonight for the Tigers. Fortunately, on the defensive side of the ball, 9 of their 11 starters are seniors.
Yeah, absolutely. And 23 players is obviously not a lot, but you can be small but mighty too. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think they're going to bring it. They're absolutely going to bring it. They're coming off a win last week where they handled their team. They handled their opponents nicely. Coach Stallings has a plan, and I feel like he's always going to have a plan for defensively and offensively against Covenant Christian tonight, and they're really going to have to be able to take down. They're going to have to have their best night in football so far.
Yeah, they're going to need to bring it against this high-powered Warriors offense. It was a week ago, actually less than a week ago. It was last Saturday where the Indianapolis Crispus Attucks Tigers played their first game of the season and knocked off Gary Westside by a final score of 46-14. We're going to take a look at some not preseason. We're in week 3 now. We're going to take a look at some week 3 rankings here on Indiana SRN. We've got all 6 classes brought to you by Jeff Sagarin and his ratings in both 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, and 6A. We'll start at the bottom since Covenant Christian is in the smallest class in the state of Indiana. They list them at number 8, so they are just outside the top 5. But the Warriors, if they keep taking care of business and knock off a good Tigers team tonight, you might see them ascend up the rankings a little bit more. Coming in at 5 in Class 1A, South Putnam. Number 4, South Adams. Number 3, North Davies. Number 2, North Judson. And number 1 school in Class 1A, just on this young 2020 season, is Lutheran. Moving up to Class 2A. We'll start top down. We'll go with Andrean up at number 1. Eastbrook is number 2. Pioneer at 3, Eastside at 4, and Linton Stockton at 5. Heritage Christian, also heard here right on Indiana SRN, just outside the top 5. Jeff Sagarin has him, or that high school rather, at number 6. Moving up to Class 3A, Southridge is the top program so far, according to Sagarin's ratings. They lead Class 3A. Bishop Chatard is number 2. Franklin County's 3. You've got Yorktown at 4, and Danville closing out the top 5 in Class 3A. Up in Class 4A, Mount Vernon over in Fort Will just to our east. They are number 1 in Class 4A so far this season. Mooresville number 2, Northridge 3, Delta number 4, and New Prairie 5. Up in Class 5A, no surprise who leads that class in the Sagarin ratings. Cathedral number 1, Valparaiso 2, New Palestine 3, Michigan City 4, and Fort Wayne Dwenger is number 5. And then in the largest class here in the state of Indiana, Class 6A, Center Grove is number 1, Lawrence North 2, Merrillville 3, Warren Central 4, and Penn High School rounds out the top 5 in Class 6A. So there are your Sagarin ratings. We've gone through a little bit of the offensive side and the defensive side for Covenant Christian. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be back with more Warriors football. You're watching Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
Life comes at you fast, so it's important to have some help along the way.
Ah, my favorite patient. Ah, my favorite patient.
When the dust settles, it doesn't always end as anticipated. Embrace the journey and care for the ones around you.
My favorite patient.
For everything else and every stage in between,
my favorite patient.
Methodist Sports Medicine is here for you.
Welcome back to Covenant Christian High School. Shane Ryder alongside my partner Joey Lindstrom in the Indiana SRN studios. We are under 5 minutes away from kickoff. It is senior night tonight for the Warriors. I went through their roster before coming into the studios tonight. They've got 12 seniors on this team. They start 7 offensively. They start 7 defensively. We did not go through their starting defense, however, did we, Joey?
We did not, and that is A-okay because we're going to do it right now.
We're going to do it right now. They start a 4-3 base defense. That is a change from a year ago as well. But one thing I want to highlight, for Indianapolis Crispus Attucks, they have 6 seniors on their offensive side of the ball. Just 1 senior receiver, however, and it's going to be tough for him to get open. The reason being, 4 seniors in this Covenant Christian Warriors secondary.
That's wild, and what a treat we're going to be able to see. When you have your entire secondary back, that is going to be so important for your defense moving forward, because you're going to have veteran leadership. You're going to be able to talk the entire time. You're going to have guys communicating, whereas when you have a younger defense, you can't. And especially in the secondary, too, where that's your last line of defense, right? So you're going to be able to have some weapons on the outside on a defense. That's pretty rare.
So on this defensive side of the ball, it was a week ago, Adrian Terry, he had an offensive receiving touchdown in the fourth quarter of that 68-6 win over Rushville Consolidated, but he had a pick six as well. Best news yet for the Warriors, that was their second straight week on this young season with an INT that went the other way for 6.
That's right, and not only that, they also were able to control that entire game throughout, and they made those big plays, and they have those big play capabilities on both sides of the ball, like you said. And I'm looking at all these seniors to be able to control the front, too. And Trey Flatt and Alex Coleman both playing defensive end as well, and a 4-3. That's going to be the most important part, is their edge pass rush.
Flatt brothers are 2 to highlight. One is the senior, you just brought his name up, in Trey Flatt. He lines up at that right defensive end spot, coming from the quarterback's blind side for a right-handed throwing quarterback in Caleb Davenport for Indianapolis Crispus Attucks. But Flatt, again, he didn't start last week because of some COVID issues. He did not have COVID. We can confirm that. But as a precautionary measure, they kept him out, and then he came in the second quarter and played the rest of the game. On the defensive side of the ball, he applies a ton of pressure, and his younger brother, Tony, is the inside linebacker. You got 3 linebackers. They stick a sophomore in the middle, and the younger brother, Tony Flatt. These Flatt brothers last year, before we went into week 1, I just looked at their 2019 numbers, Joey. The Flatt brothers accounted for almost 40% of the tackles defensively in 2019 for Covenant Christian. 40% from 2 guys.
Sounds like they got it going on, and Tony Flatt to do that as a freshman, too, is really impressive. So at that inside linebacker spot, he's going to be what they call the Mike, so he's going to be the first point of defense and the quarterback of that defense. So it's a big shoes, obviously, that he's already got on, right? So he's going to have to bark out orders. He's going to have to get everybody ready. And not only that, he obviously has proven himself on the field. And so it's just that trust that he has with his teammates is going to be ultimately most important, especially with those seniors all backing him up behind him, and especially in front of him, too, with his brother.
So you've got 3 linebackers in there in Flatt, and then a senior at one outside linebacker position in Jay Wright. The other one, another sophomore, in Brad Nardi. He had that first pick 6 in week 1. He had 6 tackles a week ago. It was Tony, the younger Flatt brother, who led the team last week against Rushville Consolidated with 8 tackles from his Mike linebacker position. When we went through the Crispus Attucks defense, we brought up that they run a 3-4 defense that has more of a contained scheme to it. What's the difference between the 3-4 and the 4-3 that Covenant Christian Warriors counter with?
The main difference between 3-4 and a 4-3 is obviously the amount of people you have up front, right? So you're going to have, in a 4-3, you're going to have 4 down linemen. So you're going to have your defensive ends and your tackles, right? So in a 3-4, it almost looks like there's 5 defensive linemen there, right? But actually there's actually 3 defensive linemen and 2 outside linebackers on the outside.
It allows you to get a little more speed on the field too.
Exactly.
More times than not.
Exactly. You can have an outside linebacker with a little more speed, maybe a little lighter than the defensive end would be. Get him outside of the tackle and try to get pressure on the quarterback. And like you said, you're going to be able to have a lot of pressure on the outside throughout the entire game, and that's going to be huge.
Well, it looks like we're getting close to the national anthem here at Covenant Christian High School. They just introduced all the graduating seniors here in the class of 2000 and, well, what will be 21.
That's right.
With the fall season here in 2020. And we hope 2021 looks a whole lot different for this country and our world. We're going to step aside for the national anthem. We'll be back with Warriors football. We've got week 3 action here in this 2020 IHSAA season. Covenant Christian about to take on Indianapolis Crispus Attucks. Warriors against the Tigers next. You're watching Indiana SRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world, or by staying perfectly still. For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Hello, my name is Sean Kroll, and I've been a part of the Indiana SRN family for the last 9 years. Last year, we streamed a record 326 sporting events around Central Indiana. All the other guys broadcast basketball and football, but we at Indiana SRN also air volleyball, softball, baseball, and even golf. But we need your help. To continue our mission, please help us by contacting Coach at indianasrn.org. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
Week 3 action just moments away right here on Indiana SRN. We thank you for joining tonight's broadcast in what we expect will be a dandy of a ball game between the Covenant Christian Warriors and the Indianapolis Crispus Attucks Tigers. Both teams without a loss this season. Crispus Attucks played 6 days ago, last Saturday, against Gary Westside and picked up a 46-14 victory to get to 1-0. And Covenant Christian taking care of business so far this season. A big win in Week 1 over Jennings County, 52-14. And then last week, they went up over 60. They got close to 70 with a 68-6 win over Rushville Consolidated. We got the coin toss going on right now at midfield. Austin Frazier and Adrian Terry out there with a couple of football managers as well as part of tonight's senior night festivities. And Crispus Attucks, we talked about how small of a varsity roster they have. I see 2, maybe 3 guys on that far sideline right now, Joey.
Yeah, maybe the other ones got a little worried. They didn't want to take any risks with COVID. I think those are Frazier's parents, I think, as well, maybe.
Frazier's parents. Oh yeah.
Doing the
It is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I was thinking it was a couple of football managers, but you're right.
Maybe they're just big fans of Frazier.
Could be. That's a pretty cool gesture for Covenant Christian. So the senior quarterback for the Warriors looks like Crispus Attucks has deferred to the second half. So
they're the Tigers. The rest of them are coming in.
There they are, coming out of that far end zone. Moving from right to left on your screen. So Covenant Christian in this offense, they're going to start with the football. 4 fumbles in Week 1. They lost every one of them, but their defense forced 5 of their own and recovered 4 of those. So whatever the reason was in Week 1, whether it was a slippery football or just the early season jitters, Covenant Christian was able to clean that up last week. Fumbled it just 2 times, fell on it both times, however. Did not throw a single interception. And in all 3 phases of the game, Joey, they played exceptionally well. The Warriors piled it up with 41 points in the second quarter. They had a pick 6 that went the other way as well for senior Adrian Terry. BJ Lomax, a 60-yard punt return for a touchdown. So they had touchdowns in all 3 phases of the game.
And when you have 2 teams coming off of wins, the biggest, most important difference in your play is going to come in special teams, especially when,
Yeah, that could be the thing that just separates them between winning and losing.
Ball could swing your way, and not only that, it's a little thing, but sometimes the little things not only matter, they make all the difference, right? So you're going to have to go all out. Your two-way players are going to have to they're going to be suck and win, but that's something you got to do, That's the inches matter.
In week 1, Covenant Christian had 7 two-way players. And for our viewers, that just means you start both offensively and defensively. They were down to 6 last week. They're right at that number again this week. It's a short onside attempt, and Covenant Christian falls on it. We've got a whistle. Couldn't tell if that came before the kick.
They're trying to get him.
They did try and catch him off guard to start tonight's game, but there was a whistle blown just before that kickoff. Not sure if the head official was not ready for play yet, if he hadn't signaled that he was ready for the kick or what, but we're going to have a redo, so now I don't know that they'll be able to catch him off guard with
I mean, hey, fool me once, shame on you, right?
Maybe they'll try it the other way. BJ Lomax, the deep man for Covenant Christian. Adrian Terry back there as well. You'll see their speed shortly. Offensively on the outside. Looks like a gorgeous night
the Hoosier
at
sky.
Covenant Christian.
The Hoosier sky.
No doubt. Baby blue skies. Felt like football weather on our drive here to the studios as well. When you get out of the car, you just feel it in the air. It just feels
crisp.
right.
Nice.
There's another short kickoff, and it does get scooped up by number 24, Jay Wright. He falls on it. So no return. They're going to spot it at the 39-yard line. So good field position to get things going tonight on possession number 1 for the Warriors. Frazier, the quarterback, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. Threw for 15 TDs a week ago. They got 2 receivers to the right. Looks like Lomax in the slot. And Terry flanks him on the outside. Jackson Brew at the top of your screen. Frazier in shotgun. And they're going to get a free 5 yards before the ball is snapped. So you've got encroachment on a defensive end for Crispus Attucks.
Probably just early jitters in the game. You just got to get it out somehow. Unfortunately, that's not the way you want to get it out.
No, that's not how you want to shake off the rust. But that is a good start for Covenant Christian, going with a hard count on their first series. So they'll line up in the same formation. Frazier in shotgun. Handoff goes to Gage Coffey here to the near sideline. He's going to pick up 3, maybe 4, but we've got Laundry on the field back near the line of scrimmage, and that's going to signal most likely a hold, and that one's going to come back.
I would assume so. It's hard on outside zone plays like that where the running back takes it to the outside and all the blocking is sort of pushing that way.
You kind of got to seal it a little bit.
You got to seal it, and unfortunately it's hard to sometimes get your hand underneath his shoulder pad where sometimes you end up grabbing his shoulder.
Looks like we've got a block in the back, so maybe on a crack block from one of them receivers lined up on the outside too, but either way, that'll back it up 10 yards. So now we'll have another replay of first down. So they got a free 5 to make it 1st and 5, but now they'll back it up 10, and it's going to be 1st down and 15 for Covenant Christian. Ball spotted at the 34-yard line. This time they flip the set. 2 receivers split out to the left. That's Trey Flatt as well. Make it 3 receivers
in a
in
bunch
4.
there.
Yeah, a little bunch formation on the left side of the formation. Frazier's going to look that way. He's going to fire it deep down the field. That looks like it's Lomax behind the secondary down the left sideline. And that is a big gainer. Make that Adrian Terry who came up with the catch. He's just 5'7", $150, but boy, can that kid fly.
That kid can fly, and not only that, he was able to get separation so easily on that play, and I think it was because of the cut he made to the outside. And Frazier, it was an easy ball for him. He hit a great loft on it. He was able to he saw where he wanted to throw the ball. He threw to a spot rather than throwing it to his guy. That was great.
So they go 49 yards through the air on their first official play. And Frazier's accuracy on full display on that first long pass. Now they go back to either side. It's back to Gage Coffey, who's going to try and squirt up the middle. He'll get some minimal yards. And that'll bring up second down for the Warriors. Looks like maybe a gain of just 2.
That was a great fill there by the Tigers as they immediately saw it was a run. And that split formation, it's usually going to be a heavy run, especially when you're out of shotgun all the time like coming to Christian is. So Gage Coffey unfortunately swallowed up right away.
Two receivers out to the right, Terry and Lomax. Jackson Brew split out to the left. Frazier in shotgun. Back to his left. He's back to pass. He's going to fire back towards the right pylon. That ball is caught, and that is B.J. Lomax this time for the score. He had 3 touchdowns last week. Give him another here in week 3, and the Warriors out to an early lead at 6-0.
That's a heck of a way to start your senior night, huh? B.J. Lomax, an easy corner route for him, and I believe he was the third. Actually, he was the second receiver lined up. He was in the slot position, and he easily made that corner route. And what a great ball, again, by Frazier. That was awesome.
So Frazier with a couple of dimes on this first possession. And this senior-laden Tigers defense, they just got picked apart. Jackson Brew's PAT is up, and it's through. And Covenant Christian with an early 7 on the scoreboard, not even 2 minutes into tonight's ball game.
It looked like clockwork on that drive. Don't you think, Shane? That was awesome.
That was efficient. They had the penalty where they got the free 5 backed up after the first handoff to Gage Coffey, but they made quick work. They didn't look at the 1st and 15 and think, oh, darn, we've got more yards to gain now to try and pick up a first down and move the chains. They just were, well, we're just going to air it out, get it to our speed on the outside, and let them take care of the rest. So
they didn't seem to fear at all what they're down a distance, and that's something that's going to be so important for them throughout the rest of the night is just to play confidently.
It's a long scoring drive for Covenant Christian. It started on their own 39-yard line, so it's a 61-yard scoring drive. 4 plays.
That ball, too, on that touchdown could have brought rain. That was hanging in the air forever.
And now you've got Jackson Brew, who will handle the kickoff duties for the Warriors. And this is one thing we didn't talk about. We brought up the special teams briefly with Lomax's 60-yard TD punt return from a week ago against Rushville Consolidated. But Jackson Brew this year, in the 2 games that I've called alongside Coach Keith Myers, he puts a lot of them into the end zone. It's pretty impressive for a high school kicker to do what he does and do it as consistent as he does. We'll see if he can put that right leg into this ball here. There's a long kick and right on cue.
Yeah, you hit the boomstick on that one.
4 or 5 yards deep into the end zone, and that is big if you're Covenant Christian for that defense that has given up just 14 points in week 1, and 14 of those points, they came in the 4th quarter. It was garbage time for Jennings County, scoring 2 touchdowns in week 1, and then last week just the 6 points allowed to Rushville Consolidated. Those came in the second half as well against backups. So if you're going just off the starters for Covenant Christian, no points allowed so far this season.
And that's impressive, right? That's awesome. And they're going to obviously look to do that immediately right here and try to set the tone. That's the biggest part of your defense is being able to set the tone like that.
So they started with the football. We'll see if the defense can come up big now. You see number 80, Ty Gossel, one of those 4 senior defensive backs who gets the nod for first-year head coach Dan Giedel.
Watch flat on the outside.
They're going to look to the right. Little short screen pass and a short gain of maybe a yard. We'll see where they spot the football. But nevertheless, not a big gainer on first down for Crispus Attucks and the Tigers. Take a look at their starting offense. They start 6 seniors offensively, 3 juniors, a sophomore, and how about that, a true freshman from the center position. And he's not your typical freshman, 6'3", 240 pounds.
Certainly not your typical
That's a big
freshman.
boy.
That is a big boy. You play him right, feed him right. He's gonna be looking at college looking at him right away.
You would think so. Caleb Davenport, a senior quarterback for the Tigers. He's in shotgun with a back to his left.
Quick draw.
It is a draw to the right side. I think that is number 3, Juan Armour Jr. Trying to get a number there.
I think it was
Armour Jr. He's 6 feet 215. I was just going off size there because their other halfback is Kamani Hall. He's listed at just 5'9", 165. That looked like a slightly larger ball carrier there carrying the rock. But now a third and manageable distance for the Tigers. Looks like 3rd down and 3. Ball on the 27-yard line. Davenport in shotgun.
Probably look for something short here, Shane.
He's got trips to his left, a single receiver out to his right. Armour Jr. steps up to Davenport's right now, and a receiver goes in motion. It's a high snap. It'll be a draw up the middle again to Armour Jr., and he's going to use his size to pick up the first down. He gets the necessary yardage. They'll give him 4.
Using that motion, I don't know if Covenant Christian was keen to it before in their prep. I'm sure they were, but having that motion back go all the way around sort of tells that it might be an option play, right? It might be some kind of triple option where Davenport's going to be able to read the defensive end and then have his pitch out man. So that's probably what Covenant Christian was kind of thinking, or they might pass it right to him.
So is that, when that receiver goes in motion, is that your triple option because he's got the chance to give it to the halfback to his right, he can keep it himself, or that receiver that's looping around behind him has a chance to pitch it to him too?
Exactly. And not only that, he's going to be able to have that option probably throughout the game as they just run that another inside zone like that. That's something that just a straight up the gut handoff, right? So that's something that's going to be huge for Crispus Attucks, is being able to gain that momentum right away. Obviously, they didn't do it on that play.
So the Tigers lose 2 yards on first down after moving the chains. Davenport goes in shotgun. Armour Jr. is going to stack up behind him now in a shotgun pistol formation. Looks like a 4-receiver set. 2 receivers to either side. Armour Jr. steps up to Davenport's left. Take another high snap from the freshman. That ball goes over the middle, but it's incomplete. A nice blanket coverage by, I think, B.J. Lomax.
Looked like Lomax there.
All over the coverage there. So now 3rd down and long, and this is right where you want him if you're Covenant Christian.
Not only that, and on that play that Crispus Attucks was trying to get the FL dig concept, where on the outside he's running at least a 7-yard in, trying to make it a 3rd medium play. Just the ball wasn't in the right spot.
It's a tight spiral from Davenport, but he missed his target. Now he's got to try and connect with one of his 4 receivers in this formation. They're split to both sides. Another high snap. Davenport gathers it. He's going to fire down towards the first down marker, but it looks like it's too tall, and it does sail to the Crispus Attucks sideline. So after a first down that lost 2 yards, Crispus Attucks going against the chains, and a couple of Davenport incomplete passes put them into a punt situation now here on their first offensive possession.
That was great pressure by the front 4. You think about both Flat brothers getting in there as well, and that's all night Covenant Christian just has to be able to do that because that obviously gave Crispus Attucks some issues.
We'll see what the Tigers and how closely they looked at their scouting report. Last week, B.J. Lomax with 2 punt returns. One went for 60 yards to the house. The other one, well, just a meager 23-yard return. It looks like a high punt this time. Going to be tough for Lomax to come up on that and return it. And Covenant Christian will let that one roll to a standstill at the 45-yard line. So they started at the 39 on their first offensive possession. Now they'll start from the 45 or the 46, so even better field position here right near midfield.
Yeah, 2 on that drive. Just Crispus Attucks needs to be able to create separation by their wide receivers, and I think if you keep pounding the inside, you're going to be able to have the defense learn what your disciplines are, right? And so if you start spreading them out as well, you're going to spread them out. You're going to stretch them out.
Let's see what Covenant Christian has in store for their second offensive series. Jackson Brew to the bottom of your screen. 2 receivers out to the left in Lomax and Terry. The handoff will go to Gage Coffey, who tries to bounce and slip a couple of tacklers, but He was fighting for yardage, just couldn't quite get back to the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2, and now 2nd down and 12 coming up for the Warriors.
Number 51 there, Kayvon Scott, who plays defensive tackle and offensive tackle. Got great edge pressure there, and Gage Coffey wasn't really sure where to go. And then the linebackers for Crispus Attucks filled really, really well.
This Tigers defense with the 3-4 concept. How about their nose tackle? I think there's a reason they're running the 3-4 here. You look at the size of this nose tackle.
Yes.
6'3", 300 pounds lining up over the center. And center's junior Ethan Sparks. He's got his hands full tonight, although he's listed at 280.
Good to have some beef up front.
That ball gets tipped, and it's caught by Lomax, and he bounces around a couple of tacklers, and they're back into Tigers territory. I think there was a deflection on that pass, but Lomax able to stop in his route, catch the football, and pick up a big gainer. So they go from the 44 all the way down to the 37-yard line of the Tigers.
What a heads-up play by Lomax. That was awesome. He was able to see that it immediately got tipped, and he made a very athletic move to try to get himself in position.
That's a gain of 19 for Lomax. He's already got 2 catches tonight for 34 yards and a touchdown. Frazier in shotgun. Trey Flatt, the up back in the formation. They go to Micah Wilson this time, who gets maybe a yard. He averaged close to 12 yards per carry last week, did Micah Wilson.
Just a simple inside zone play again there on that handoff, and it obviously Crispus Attucks was able to sniff it out pretty quickly, just a 1 yard gain.
Make it 2nd down and 9 for Covenant Christian. They lead it 7-0 thanks to a B.J. Lomax touchdown catch. Frazier back to pass. He's going to fire left this time. That's a nice catch by Jackson Brew, who went up to get it. Both hands secure the football. It's a gain of 4, and now 3rd down and mid-range coming up for the Warriors.
Yeah, you got to think the Warriors here are going to be able to look to probably a red zone shot. Honestly, they're probably going to try to go for the end zone, but on a 3rd down, try to catch the Tigers by surprise. But they also could just try to go for the 1st down, quick underneath routes.
Ball spotted just inside the 35. They've got it at the 33. 3rd down and 5 now for Covenant Christian. Looking for some points here on their 2nd offensive series. A back to either side of Austin Frazier. He'll take the snap. It goes to Wilson. He slips it up the middle. Now bounces it outside. There's the speed.
Nice move.
Look at him. He's got the 1st down. Now lowers the shoulder into a defensive back. And that's how you fire up your sideline, Joey.
Oh, yeah.
Show off the speed and then say, oh, by the way.
Bring some juice.
Bring a little juice at the end of the run, and he's going to get a well-deserved breather from head coach Dan Giedel.
I love it. Michael Wilson, that was great. No wonder he's had so many touchdowns. He fears no man. That was a great run.
So they go from the 33 down to the 14. It's a gain of 19 for Wilson. That play was designed to be between the tackles, but when you got the speed that Wilson does and the vision that he had there, he saw that the gap closed down and just said, I'll just take this outside.
That's how you set the tone, too. We talked about setting the tone on defense, but you got to do it on offense as well.
Trey Flatt now the back to the right of Frazier, who passes it out to the right. That's to Jackson Brew, fighting towards the pylon. He's going to come up just short, but a couple of early catches for Jackson Brew. This time his 2nd reception gets Covenant Christian down to the 5-yard line.
Yeah, just a quick little hitch route there to try to gain some yards, maybe have him make a move. Just a short little 5 yards and turn around, give you the ball.
Terry and Lomax split out to the left. Brew again to the right of the formation of Austin Frazier. Flat with the pink socks and the pink towel at his waist. Same shotgun formation. This time they go back to Coffey, looking up the middle. And he's going to get stuffed as he tries to work his way down near the goal line. Looks like he's a yard, maybe 2 yards outside of pay dirt. But it was enough to move the chains. So it was 2nd down and short, and Coffey gets the necessary yardage there.
And a 1st down, too.
Yeah, now you got helpful. 1st and goal from from our angle, I'd say the 1, maybe 1.5 yard line.
Yeah, I'd say so. Something quick over the middle, I assume.
Frazier in shotgun. 4 receivers set this time. You can hear him go with the hard count. And now they go with a run, and it's a sweep to the outside and another touchdown for Covenant Christian. That's Gage Coffey into the end zone for the first time this season. He led this Covenant Christian offense last year with 11 rushing touchdowns, and he gets his first on the 2020 campaign. And that doubles up the Covenant Christian lead. They now lead 13-zip before this Jackson Brew PAT.
It always feels good to get your first one of the year, and to come in week 3 too. That's awesome, and great outside zone blocking there. Oh, fumble here.
Got a fumble on the snap. Little fire drill, and I think they're going to come up short. They will. So the PAT attempt after the muffed snap and hold is no good. So Covenant Christian on their second offensive possession settle for 6 instead of 7. But 9 minutes into the first quarter, they're up big on Crispus Attucks. They lead at 13-0. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
Life Centers offers love and compassion to all women and men who come through our 8 centers. The goal of this love and compassion is that we would not only save babies from abortion, but also transform lives and create families. The forms of this love and compassion are our services. All of our services are offered free of charge to our clients. To learn more about Life Centers, contact us at lifecenters.com or call us at 317-280-2635. Life Centers. We choose compassion.
Football fans, basketball fans, wrestling fans, you name it, Indiana SRN has it on YouTube. You can watch tonight's game on YouTube. The archive game is available there. You can watch any previous or future game right there on our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the red button and subscribe to Indiana SRN. 3 minutes left here in the first quarter. Shane Ryder alongside my partner Joey Lindstrom. And it's been all Warriors. Much like the first 2 weeks of the season, we thought tonight's game would be a little more of a battle for Covenant Christian. There's a heavy block on the kickoff return. It's a nice return for Crispus Attucks as they get it out to the 30-yard line. It's a decent field position after Brew's first kickoff carried into the end zone for a touchback. But it's Covenant Christian offense. Joey, this is your first time seeing this offense in action. I talked about the speed on the outside. Check that box. We saw that with Terry in the long catch on their first pass attempt from Austin Frazier. And then the speed in the backfield. I brought up the 3-headed monster in Trey Flat, Gage Coffey, and Micah Wilson. Wilson with 5 touchdowns 2 weeks into the season. Saw a nice run on that scoring drive their last time out.
Absolutely. Covenant Christian's not only attacking from the outside, they're also able to get a lot of penetration in the inside too. And that's helping them in all sorts of ways.
For the second offensive series for Crispus Attucks. And how about this? A trifecta of pick sixes. They had one in week 1, another in week 2, and make it 3 for 3 as we try and make out a number. I think that's Adrian Terry.
It was Terry.
Number 19, Adrian Terry. So Terry had the pick 6 last week. He adds another. And this was one of our pregame hot takes that we had, is when we highlighted this Covenant Christian defense, we pointed right to the secondary and said 4 seniors. How big is that at this level?
It's super big, and not only that, he's also all 4 of those guys know that they're the guys, right? They're seniors. This is their last year. It's an unprecedented year. They're lucky to play football, and they're making the most of it, obviously. On that particular play, Crispus Attucks was just running. They ran the concept similarly on a second down on the last drive that they had. He just cut right under, and he just stole that ball from the receiver.
So we've got a timeout, I believe, right before the PAT attempt. So we're going to take a quick timeout as well. We'll be back with this Jackson Brew PAT. You're watching Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
Going to go for 2 here on the point after attempt. A little screen pass to the outside. That's Trey Flatt for the 2-point conversion. And Covenant Christian, after they lined up for the PAT kick in Jackson Brew's 3rd attempt of the night, they said, to heck with that. Let's try and make up for that missed PAT on our 2nd offensive touchdown and go for 2. They capitalize. Frazier to Trey Flatt, a senior to a senior. And it's all Warriors here in the first quarter. Clock stopped at 2:42. We're going to take another quick timeout. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Parents, do you like free food? Hut, hike it on over to Prodigy Burger and Bar, where Monday is family night and kids eat free. Every day you can find daily specials featuring craft burgers, tacos, wings, and more. Prodigy is now playing the NFL Sunday Ticket on more than 25 TVs, so you won't miss a second of your favorite teams. Prodigy also caters, hosts private events, as well as dine and donates. Celebrate your school spirit with us at Prodigy Burger and Bar. More than just burgers, located in Clay Terrace in Carmel.
Back here at Covenant Christian High School, the Warriors up big on the Tigers here in week 3 of the Indiana High School Athletic Association football season. They lead at 21-0 right now. Jackson Brew getting some early work in tonight. Already his 3rd kickoff coming. Was able to put his first one into the end zone for a touchback. Last one was returned out to the 30, but you just saw what happened. Adrian Terry on the Tigers' first play of that last offensive series took it the other way for a pick 6. That kickoff sails down to the 10-yard line. It's a nice return again out to the 30-yard line. We'll see if senior quarterback Caleb Davenport decides to look the other way if he goes through the air again. Adrian Terry has shown that he's quite the ball hawk in that Warriors secondary, already with 2 picks, and he's shown that he can take it the other way as well. He knows what to do with it when he picks it off.
Yeah, it's one thing to get possession of it. It's another thing to do something with it, right? That's great.
Well, he is one of 6 two-way players for Covenant Christian. You see him lined up to the bottom of your screen. Davenport in shotgun. Armour Jr. to his right. It's a 4-receiver set for the Tigers. Davenport's going to roll left and now fire over the middle. It's a low pass, and it falls incomplete. Threw it where his receiver could catch it. Looked like he got both hands on the football, but number 8, Kimani Hall, could not haul it in. So 2nd down coming up for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think Kimani Hall just wanted that. He wanted that so bad he looked up, but he was sliding anyway. You don't need to look up when you're in high school. You're going to be down when your knee's down, right? So you're not going to be able to
advance the football,
advance the football.
Davenport trying to get this offense going here. His team already down 3 scores. Trips left in the 2nd down and 10 formation. Davenport back to pass. He's going to be wrestled down, and there's a late flag coming in. We're going to see if that's one of a hold or a face mask. You've got one or the other. They threw it right where the quarterback Davenport was being wrestled to the grass. And we do have a face mask against Covenant Christian. Thought it might be a hold with all the linemen jumbled up there, but whoever was in on that sack, I think it was Alex Coleman.
I believe it was Coleman, yep. He got a lot of good pressure on the outside, forced Davenport to try to move right away. This offensive line seems a little bit like it's not being able to stymie this pass rush, and that's going to prove to be difficult as the game goes on.
So O-line definitely has the size advantage, but maybe the element of speed is the trump card so far for the Warriors. They've gotten into the backfield a couple of times against Davenport, applying heavy pressure even when they cannot bring him down. This time they run a draw series. It goes to Armour Jr. He's looking for running room, able to squirt through a couple of tacklers and use his size to pick up a yard. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but now you've got 3rd down and 10 coming up. If you're head coach Ramon Stallings, what are you drawing up here, Joey?
Well, 3rd and long, you're typically always going to try to go for something that's obviously going to be able to move the sticks, right? So you're going to look to your curl routes, you're going to look to your dig routes. I would imagine that he's going to have Davenport just drop back and just toss one up.
Hope that his receiver can create a little separation, but it hasn't been easy going so far for Caleb Davenport. He has not had a ton of time in the backfield when he does drop back to pass. They go in a shotgun here. Little draw up the middle again to Armour Jr., but not much doing.
Actually, I think that was a read option, so I think that
Did Davenport keep that one there?
Davenport took it.
So he picks up 4 yards, 4th down and 6. Ball is not even to the 35-yard line, and you've already got decision time for head coach Ramon Stallings. It looks like he's going to punt it away.
Yeah, and that's hard, right? I mean, you'd expect on a 3rd and 10 that you'd probably try to pass the ball, but maybe he's a little worried about the pass rush that's been coming through. But you got some big boys up front. They should be able to protect at least on the outside of the tackle position. You have Kayvon Scott there as well, who obviously proved himself on defense. He'd be able to do it on offense as well.
The second punt, this one a much better punt. It's a spiral that takes Lomax back inside his own 30. It takes a Warriors bounce back towards midfield before it gets covered up by the special teams of Crispus Attucks, and they down it at the Covenant Christian 34-yard line. So still good field position for the Warriors, but it is their worst field position of the night.
And I don't think that's going to be too much of a fear in their minds. I think they're ready to go. They got their game plan going. It's not so much about where they are, just make sure they're doing their job.
Yeah, just make sure you execute. And they have done that on their first 2 offensive series. First scoring drive went 4 plays for 61 yards. Finished off with a 15-yard touchdown pass and catch. Frazier to Lomax. And then their second scoring drive, 2-yard plunge by Gage Coffey, senior tailback. His first rushing touchdown of the season. This one they'll go back to Coffey. He's going to bounce it out to the right. He's got a wall of blockers here on the near sideline. Coffey using them legs to drive over across the 50. And just like that, 1 play already, and they're into Tigers territory.
It was far too easy in the outside zone there. They got great blocking on the outside from their tackles. And not only that, Lomax and Terry both just being able to just get their blocks on the outside. It's going to be great for them on this drive here.
Looks like we've got a timeout here as no timeout. We're just going to let the clock wind down to the end of the first quarter. So a productive first quarter for the Warriors, looking for their 3rd straight lopsided win here on the young 2020 IHSAA football season. We move to quarter number 2. It's all Covenant Christian, 21-0. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Welcome back to Indiana SRN's coverage of Covenant Christian Warriors football. They're up big here in week number 3, 21-0 over Indianapolis Crispus Attucks. Take a quick look at the scoreboard tonight. Westfield leads Zionsville in the first half, 21-0 that score. New Albany, they're up on Jeffersonville 6-0 as well. Lafayette leads Northwestern 7-0, and Eastern over Delphi 12-0. That game also still in the first half. Deep pass from Frazier over the middle, down to Jackson Brew, but it's too tall for the senior receiver. And there's Frazier's first incompletion of the night.
Too tall and a little bit behind him. I think that what Frazier wanted to do was try to lead his receiver as best he could, and I think he just put a little too much air on that ball. That's something that just happens with reps. I mean, it's still week 3. You know, you're working out those kinks. I bet by week 6, that ball is a perfect spot.
You mentioned it was just behind. It was a 50-50 ball. So Frazier threw it to the correct target. Had single coverage with the deep safety on Jackson Brew. Frazier in shotgun. 2 receivers to his left. He'll hand it off to Gage Coffey, who's got running room here on the left side. Little stiff arm to the upper body of the Crispus Attucks cornerback Myron Pryor.
Pryor on that play was able to shed the block there of Terry, and he did so by being able to get into his chest and just shed him away. It was good.
So Coffey gets 6 yards on 2nd down and 10. That brings up 3rd down and 4. Did get run out of bounds, so the clock stops here. Just 12 ticks into the second quarter. See what Giedel draws up for the Warriors here.
Split set here. I would imagine it's going to be a run.
Back to either side of Frazier, goes with a hard count, tries to get the free 5. Hands it off to Micah Wilson. Got a flag thrown in. Wilson uses his speed. He does get past the chain to pick up the first down, but there is all sorts of laundry on the field right now, and I'm afraid this one's coming back, Joey.
Looks that way, and couldn't tell who it might have been on. However, that was a good run by Mike Wilson regardless. That was a great way to read his blocks and get well with his vision.
Got Lawrence North and Lawrence Central taking on each other as well. They're in the second quarter. That's a 14-7 Lawrence North lead. Got 2 other games going on right now on Indiana SRN as well. A couple of video webcasts. Tipton at Heritage Christian tonight. Heritage Christian number 7 in Class 2A. And then Columbus North number 14 taking on Southport. A couple of top 20 teams squaring off there as well, but that's a big loss of what looks like 10 yards. Now you go from 3rd and 4 to 3rd down and 14 for the Warriors. You'd be thinking pass here. They go with the hard count. They're going to get 5 back. That's 2 times tonight. They've got that defensive line of the Tigers to come across early.
Yeah, 2 times too many, if you ask me. But I think the Tigers, they just said it. They got to be able to watch the ball, and it is right in front of them. So.
So 3rd down and 9 now, a little more manageable for Covenant Christian. Frazier in shotgun, 2 receivers, and Lomax and Terry flank to his right. He's going to hand it off to Micah Wilson, who's going to try and use his speed to the right side. Slips a tackle. He's got the first down and more. He's drugged down near the 30-yard line of Crispus Attucks. But how about that 3rd down and 9? Head coach Dan Giedel just says, Wilson, use your speed, get outside.
Why don't you go ahead and run? That was awesome. Michael Wilson, obviously, he knows he's faster than the Crispus Attucks Tigers defense on that particular play, and he's able to read his blocks. Great job on the outside, too.
So he gets from the 48 down to the 33-yard line, a gain of 15 on 3rd down and 9. And that resets the chains for Covenant Christian. Wilson stays in the game. He's to the right of Frazier. 3 receivers in this set. 9 seniors defensively for Crispus Attucks, but they have had no answer, at least until that play. They've given up 21, and Covenant Christian knocking on the door again as they approach the red zone.
That was Kayvon Scott there in on that play. I think he's definitely their impact player on the defensive side, at least on their defensive line, because he's got to have that penetration every play. And that time he did.
So it's a loss of 1 for Wilson on first down after the big gain of 15 on 3rd and long. They walk it back to the line of scrimmage. Lomax and Terry make sure they're lined up in their appropriate spots. Here on 2nd and 11, handoff goes to Wilson. They'll try the left side this time. Splits the tacklers and more. He's got another tackler
there he goes.
Out of reach, and he's gone. Micah Wilson, my goodness.
He looked like he was shot out of a cannon.
BJ Lomax is thinking, why didn't you come here to Covenant Christian a little earlier?
Right, exactly. And I mean, it looks like the offensive line didn't want to go down. They were like, you ran all that way.
We'll meet you for the PAT.
We'll meet you for the PAT. That was a great run. And I mean, it wasn't so much. I mean, it was great blocking initially, but Michael Wilson really made that play with that 1 broken tackle and a slip.
The 34-yard rushing touchdown for Micah Wilson, his 6th score of the season. PAT by Brew is up and through the uprights, and Covenant Christian tacks on another TD. It is all Warriors here in week 3. They lead Crispus Attucks and the Tigers 28-zip. We'll be back with more Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
Life Centers offers love and compassion to all women and men who come through our 8 centers. The goal of this love and compassion is that we would not only save babies from abortion, but also transform lives and create families. The forms of this love and compassion are our services. All of our services are offered free of charge to our clients. To learn more about Life Centers, contact us at lifecenters.com or call us at 317-280-2635. Life Centers. We choose compassion.
Oh, he had he trucked a kid.
Watch every Indiana high school game, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, you name it, Indiana SRN has it. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube where you can watch the games live or after the game any time of the year. Every game is archived. And what a treat it has been to watch this Covenant Christian football team. Went up over 50 points in week 1, over 60 in week 2. Who knows what's in store tonight against a, on paper, talented Crispus Attucks football team.
Yeah, so far, so good for the Warriors. And not only that, they're also just showing that they're playing a lot more confidently. You can tell in their body language.
Brew with a high kickoff this time. Doesn't quite get down. It's fumbled down around the 5. And that is a big miscue if you're the Tigers.
Looks like they're having it out there, but you got to be able to communicate on the kickoff return. That's to set a tone for the drive. You have to be able to have one person call me, and obviously that didn't happen. Maybe it did happen, and they just ignored each other.
Yeah, I didn't see if they had them split or if they had them stacked when they were back deep. But either way, whoever is supposed to return that, it's just an easy call, like you said. Me, get the one guy out of the way. You're my lead blocker, and let's go.
Exactly.
But instead, they're going to start this drive inside their own 10-yard line as the deep man juggled the football. Eventually, it hit the grass, and he just had to dive on it to avoid disaster.
Not the best spot to start.
No, especially when your offense has struggled to move the ball already tonight. And now you're backed up against your own goal line. Now we've got substitution issues, and it's going to get a little bit tighter. I think before the flag, they had to burn up a timeout. So we've got a timeout for Crispus Attucks. The wheels sort of coming off here in the second quarter if you're a Tigers fan. We're going to take a timeout with them. All Covenant Christian tonight, 28-0. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Our family has been very happy working with Wallflower Pictures.
Because they make sure that I get the acting skills that I need in this industry and the education that I need.
Wallflower Pictures supports UV's journey in the industry. They're very passionate about his growth, and they're very professional and attentive to our needs.
And I truly believe in the projects I've worked on, like For the Boys and The Walk.
We love working with Wallflower Pictures.
Welcome back to Week 3 coverage of Covenant Christian football here on Indiana SRN. Joey Lindstrom, Shane Ryder in the Indiana SRN studios alongside our producer Casey Pierce and Sarah Watson out running the cameras tonight at Covenant Christian High School. 4 receivers set for the Tigers. Davenport backs up into his own end zone, now scrambles out to the left. Able to pick up a little bit of yardage. Now dances around a tackler, and he's got a first down. So nice running there by Caleb Davenport to get his offense off of their own end zone and get it out across the 20-yard line.
I feel like this is what they were trying to do initially, and they just hadn't had much success. Get Davenport outside the tackles, let him go make plays. You have the skill guy, just let him go to work. Especially if you're having trouble, let your star player go ahead and do the work, and I think good things will happen.
So Davenport gets 17 yards there on first down. They go from the 8 out to the 25-yard line. Receiver goes in motion out of the slot. It's over the head of Davenport, and again, almost disaster for the Tigers. But the man in motion able to recover the high snap that went over Davenport's head. And even though he fell on it, that's a big loss of 15 yards, and now suddenly you've got 2nd and 25 coming up for Crispus Attucks.
Yeah, you normally don't see the center to motion back pass on that, but that was just, all jokes aside, that was great recovery by them on the fumble. You don't want to be in a worse position than you already are, and Crispus Attucks obviously has more room to recover now.
That was junior Antoine Hicks, who was the receiver in motion, and he just had to go chase down the high snap from the freshman center. Davenport takes the snap, fires down the near sideline, and it's too long for Hicks, his intended receiver.
Pretty ball by Davenport, but it was just obviously too long. I think he was anticipating because he's had pressure all night. He's going to have, oh man, I'm going to have to get this off quick. Right on the 9 route, which is just a straight go. You're going in a straight line as the outside receiver. And obviously Davenport wanted all that one, but he couldn't.
3rd down and 25 now for Crispus Attucks. Davenport takes the snap. A couple of his receivers were delayed there. That ball falls to the grass, incomplete. Coverage there by number 10, Jackson Brew, and that's going to bring up 4th down. And this is another obvious punting situation for the Tigers. You see some hands on the hips of Crispus Attucks as a few of their offensive players head to the far sideline. And after a big win in week 1, 46-14 over Gary Westside.
Yeah, you got to wonder what that issue is right now. And they got to figure out who they are and or at least who they were last week. I mean, there's got to be so much more depth to this team as far as their motivation and attitude goes. And you can just see kind of in their body language they're down now, obviously by 4 scores, but even prior to that, it just seemed like they were depleted a little bit. So getting guys just getting guys set and everything, that's most important.
Noah Brimage to punt it away, but we've got a pre-snap penalty. Another booming punt by Brimage. So the last one chased Lomax back, and that's tough to do with the athleticism and speed that Lomax has. Not even he could chase down Brimage's last punt. That one again went up over his head. If you're Lomax, the deep man, maybe just give him a courtesy 5 or 10 yards, and if he's going to kick it that far, just back up a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. You got to respect it. Pat McAfee would be proud. For the brand.
Yes, this is for the brand. So Brimage will try it again. Pressure from right off the right side. It's a low punt this time. Lomax will let it roll out of bounds near the 50-yard line. See where that one checks up for Covenant Christian in their offense. So they've put 21 points on the board. The other 7 came from the defense. Adrian Terry with a pick 6. His second in as many weeks.
We'll see how Covenant Christian tries to play this drive. It was 7.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. You put up 41 in the second quarter last week. I mean, it's probably going to be an all gas, no brakes type of situation, right? That's what I would say. If I was coach, I mean, still the second quarter. You guys have a game plan. They might even still be going through script. So we'll see.
They led 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. Put up 7 on this second quarter board so far. Micah Wilson, a 34-yard touchdown run. Ball spotted at the 48. Little screen pass is going to be flicked out to the right side. I think that's Coffey who caught that football. It was. He's going to get 5 yards down to the Crispus Attucks 43-yard line.
Nice little swing route. Let Coffey go and make a play. And Frazier doesn't have to do much. Like we talked about the pregame, he doesn't have to run because he's got weapons around him. And just like little plays like that can turn into big ones.
Just one incompletion so far for the senior Austin Frazier. He's got 1 touchdown pass. It came on their opening scoring drive. That went 4 plays, 61 yards in about a minute and a half. Frazier in shotgun. He's back to pass again. He's going to roll to the right, and now he's going to tuck it and keep it himself. Sneaks his way back towards the line of scrimmage. Maybe stepped out at the line of scrimmage. So now you've got 3rd down in mid-range coming up.
It did show his escapability there. And just to touch on Crispus Attucks' attack there, they're no pun intended, but they're obviously in their 3-4 defense, they want that outside pressure, and they want to be able to contain him. So they didn't really do their job on that play, but we'll have to see if they adjust there next time.
We'll see if Covenant Christian, if they go with a pass here, if they roll Frazier to his left instead of right, because the ball is on the right hash mark, so that cuts the field, divided up into a 3rd. Not much running room on that sideline. He's in shotgun, no backs. Make it 1 back to his right. It's Coffey this time. Gets around the outside. He's got the first down and more. Down inside the 30-yard line. And some dirty work for Gage Coffey on 3rd down.
Yeah, Myron Prater had him on the outside. He just couldn't wrap up. And Coffey obviously took full advantage of that one.
And they go from the 45 down to the 25-yard line. Make that a gain of 20 for Gage Coffey.
What's so important to remember, too, about a school like Covenant Christian is they need to be able to set the tone early and often. And having 3 offensive touchdowns in this first half, 2 of them on the ground, it's just great. And they're going to continue to do so and put the hammer down as long as they want to.
So Coffey gets a breather now. Wilson and Flatt, the older Flatt brother, to both sides of Frazier. This one goes to Wilson up the middle. He dances for about 3 yards.
Wilson's quick. They're probably glad to have him coming out from Ho, transferring in.
Just over halfway through the second quarter now. This Crispus Attucks defense with 9 seniors on it. The other 2 are underclassmen, a couple of sophomores in the secondary. Free safety Diego Pettiford and Michael Dye, one of their 2 cornerbacks. But everyone else playing their last season of high school football. 2-back set, 3 receiver formation, and is that the 3rd offsides already on Crispus Attucks? We'll see.
Yeah. Biggest jump from high school to college too is usually when you see guys like Aaron Rodgers do this a lot, where free play. You know, if a defense jumps off sides, you're able to still continue that play, do something. And if you get a touchdown, it counts. If you get a first down, it counts. Whatever you get from that free play counts. Or no matter what, if you don't do anything with it, you still get 5 yards.
So we got 2nd down and 3 now after the 3rd encroachment of the night. Frazier back to pass, fires back towards the right pylon. A jump ball intended for I think B.J. Lomax, he could not haul that one in.
Great coverage there by Michael Dye on that play. That was great. And the biggest point of emphasis you want to have when you're a cornerback is as soon as you know that your receiver is going to be past you, you want to be able to track his eyes and watch where he's watching for the ball and then be able to put your hand up there. That was a great play.
Pardon our viewers, that was Jay Wright, the intended receiver. He's getting some action now with this score one-sided in favor of Covenant Christian. You see number 24, Wright. He's at the bottom of your screen. Lomax in the slot to the left of Frazier. Flatt and Wilson to either side of Frazier in shotgun. They hand it off to Wilson up the middle. He's going to squirt through again and make it 6 more for Micah Wilson, his 7th touchdown already this season. We're not even 2.5 games in, Joey, and Micah Wilson is back at it.
Do we know the rushing touchdown record? Because it looks like he's well on his way so far.
Off the top of my head, no, but the way he's going.
I mean, Michael Wilson, he's obviously continuing. He knows exactly where to go. He's rolling through. He's a quick dude, and he's got it down. He knows his strengths. Covenant Christian obviously knows their strengths, and he's going to continue to put the hammer down.
So Wilson with the touchdown. It's a 23-yard rushing touchdown for Micah Wilson. His 2nd consecutive rushing touchdown. He capped off the last scoring drive with a 34-yard score, and it's all Covenant Christian. They lead at 35-0 over Crispus Attucks tonight. You're watching Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Jackson Brew ready to kick one away for Covenant Christian. Warriors lead the Tigers tonight at Covenant Christian High School on senior night, 35-0. Another high kick by Brew. It's caught down around the 2-yard line for Crispus Attucks. That's Antoine Hicks. Slips a couple of tacklers. He's still on his feet before he's shoved out on the far sideline. So a return of about 28 or 29 yards. Much better field position for Crispus Attucks on this drive. Take a quick look at our scoreboard, Joey. Got Springs Valley up at halftime on the Paoli Rams, 7-0 that score. Also 7-0 up in Fishers. Tigers lead Noblesville 7-0 in that ball game. Another 7-0 score. Make it 24-0. Scoreboard just updated. Central Catholic leads Northwestern 24-0 at halftime. Shenandoah up on Centerville 7-0. North Montgomery 12, Southmont 6. They're at halftime. And Mooresville leads Plainfield 20-7. The Pioneers over the Quakers. That game also at the half. Our score here at Covenant Christian, all Warriors this evening. High snap goes to Davenport, and he just has to secure the snap, make sure he doesn't fumble the high snap from Tony Wooden, the freshman center for the Tigers. It's a big loss on first down, and the clock is going to wind down under 4 minutes. So we are in a similar position, Joey, from weeks 1 and 2. This is your first Covenant Christian broadcast, but we've brought up the lopsided scores a couple of times for the Warriors in week 1 and 2. We've got another one here. When the second half hits, 35 points. That's the line. Anything over 35, continuous clock, so we could have a quick second half.
We could, and we'll have to see if Crispus Attucks is going to be able to change that. Obviously, they've had some difficulties just getting guys set, and that's the first thing you want to do is be able to get set and be able to run your plays as well.
This one is I think that was a handoff. That was to Juan Armour Jr.
And Covenant Christian doing a great job of filling and not getting lazy, too. They're not getting complacent even though they know they're up. That's really good. That's really, really good.
So we get down to about 3 minutes left in quarter number 2. No hurry-up offense for Crispus Attucks. We talked in the pregame, they do not have a ton of bodies on this varsity roster. Just 23 players listed. Surprisingly, only 4 of those 23 are two-way players. But nevertheless, despite them having fewer two-way players than Covenant Christian, those breathers are not working out. They look up at the scoreboard, and they are down big. Davenport's going to keep it himself this time on 3rd down and 20. And it looks like he lost another yard, so make it a little bit longer here on 4th down. It's going to be
Coach Stallings
4th and 21.
Yeah, I think two drives ago, Crispus Attucks was totally able to get some deep ball penetration by the outside receivers, and I think he just missed our throw. I think they should come back to that. I mean, at least on 3rd down and long, you got to try something. But Covenant Christian all over that play, swallowed him up.
One bright spot has been their punter, Noah Brimage. This one a low line drive to B.J. Lomax. We'll see what he can do with it. Looks like he gets tripped up. Caught it at midfield, and a shoestring tackle knocks him down at the 44-yard line. So one last scoring chance maybe for Covenant Christian here in the first half. Frazier, the senior quarterback, will jog back out to his offense. Alex Coleman, you see number 27, coming here to the near sideline.
See what Covenant Christian does on this drive. I assume it's going to be a lot of running, try to run out the clock. Get to that accelerated clock as soon as you can, a continuous clock. Or we'll see if Frazier has a chance to throw.
We'll see. He's only got, at least by my count, 1 passing touchdown so far tonight. It was on their opening possession. This handoff goes to Trey Flatt. He's going to use his size to get down inside the 40-yard line. A gain of 4 yards for Trey Flatt on 1st down.
That was our first carry from Trey.
That was first one of the night after not having any a week ago.
He's made a difference in the blocking as well. He's not only talented when he gets the ball, but he's also talented blocking for others when they get the ball, especially Michael Wilson.
He's now in the slot to the left of Frazier. Got Gage Coffey in the backfield. Swings out to the right. Pass goes over the middle. It's caught. That's Adrian Terry around a tackler. He's got a blocker, and he's going to be gone. Adrian Terry goes the distance.
And a little cheetah tribute to Tyreek Hill there. I don't know if that's what you want right now, but that's okay. That was a great play, too. I mean, he made something out of nothing, right? He had a quick little spot curl route right above the linebackers where they should have been, and he was able to get some good blocks out there by Flatt, and he was off to the races after that.
So Austin Frazier with his second TD through the air tonight. Adrian Terry in the scoring column as well. He had the pick 6 back in the first quarter. PAT by Jackson Brew is up and good. So make it 2 touchdowns for Micah Wilson, a touchdown for B.J. Lomax, a touchdown for Gage Coffey, and now 2 for Adrian Terry. 1 defensively, now 1 offensively. This one goes 40 yards through the air, about 35 of those 40 yards after the catch. And Covenant Christian tacks on 7 more. We'll take a timeout. Warriors lead the Tigers 42-0. You're watching Indiana SRN.
Parents, do you like free food? Hike it on over to Prodigy Burger and Bar, where Monday is family night and kids eat free. Every day you can find daily specials featuring craft burgers, tacos, wings, and more. Prodigy is now playing the NFL Sunday Ticket on more than 25 TVs, so you won't miss a second of your favorite teams. Prodigy also caters, hosts private events, as well as dine and donates. Celebrate your school spirit with us at Prodigy Burger and Bar. More than just burgers. Located in Clay Terrace in Carmel.
Viewers, check out Indiana SRN's YouTube page. Go to youtube.com or download the app on your mobile device. Search Indiana SRN and make sure you hit the subscribe button. You'll get all the notifications on new games you can watch. Just football and volleyball so far, but much more to come here as the fall season progresses into the winter months. Jackson Brew will kick things away for Covenant Christian. The Warriors with a monster first half, 21 points in the first quarter, another 21 here in the second, and now a nice double leg tackle by number 11, Brad Nardi.
Way to bring it.
Yeah, that was a nice form tackle. I think that's how you draw that up in practice.
I'd say so. He did what Coach told him. That's always nice.
I've been out of the game.
Coach.
I've been out of the game longer than you. I forget all the steps for it. It was like, lower your level. Our coaches were always like, lower your level, make sure you wrap up, bring your hips as well. You're not arm tackle. It's bring your hips more than anything.
Bring your hips is more than anything. Be able to, never obviously duck your head.
Yep.
But be able to have your eyes up. Sometimes some coaches call it a gator roll, what have you. Just be able to bring him up and knock him down, obviously. And I mean, every coach has a different word for it.
I'm not sure what Nardi's winter sport is, but being from the state of Iowa, that was a textbook double leg. Drove him down into the grass. That would be a mat in wrestling. So I'm not sure if wrestling is Nardi's winter sport, but if he doesn't have a winter sport, maybe he can pick up wrestling. Davenport in shotgun on first down. Was back to pass, but has to tuck it and get it back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe they'll give him a yard there. We're now under 1 minute left here in the second quarter.
Nardi's shown great leadership there on the defense, along with Flat, obviously. Those two well-oiled machines, really.
And just a couple of sophomores there. In Tony Flat, the inside linebacker, the Mike linebacker. And then Brad Nardi. 3 sophomores out of the 11 starters on this defense for Covenant Christian. They've put up a goose egg here in the first half. Davenport in shotgun, keeps it himself, slips around Jay Wright. Now a flag thrown on the field. And now a nice gang tackle by Covenant Christian. They're going to stop the clock at 16 seconds left. We'll see what the penalty is. It's in the backfield. That's in the direction of holding, and it is.
Yep.
So just when you get a little positive yardage for Crispus Attucks, you think maybe they have a series going at least, maybe to pick up a first down before halftime.
Davenport's got to be like, come on, guys. Doing all I can back here.
Yeah, when he's dropped back to pass, he's had no more than a couple of seconds to get rid of the football. And even on runs, there's not many lanes to wiggle through if you're Davenport, senior quarterback for Crispus Attucks. They'll go with a 4-receiver set here, second down and long. The clock winds and we're under 10 seconds. This will be the last play of the first half. Davenport, a hard count, hands it off to Armour Jr., who gets tripped up, gets back to about the 10-yard line, but that will bring us to the end of the first half. And what a half it was for Covenant Christian. They lead at 42-0 on senior night over Indianapolis Crispus Attucks. 21 points in the first quarter, another 21 in the second. Joey, quick thoughts here on the first half.
Yeah, I think what Covenant Christian did so well is that they just stayed on their tempo. They didn't try to go too fast. They know exactly what they're good at, and that's downhill running and then spreading the ball out with Frazier's arm. And that's obviously they did that so well. Guys like Terry, guys like Wright, guys like Michael Wilson, obviously with 2 touchdowns in the first half. And it's just they're a well-oiled machine, and they really can't be stopped no matter what they try to do.
Well, just how high-powered is this offense? I'm just going to go through the scoring drives here quick. Their longest scoring drive from a play standpoint, not yardage standpoint, 8 plays. The other ones, the opening drive, took 4 plays. They had the pick 6, obviously no offensive plays there. 6 plays. another 6 plays. The last one, 2 plays into the end zone. I mean, there is no – I mean, anyone could break it at any time. If you get it in Terry's hands, you get it in Lomac's hands. Oh, we're not going to go through the air. We're going to hand it off to Micah Wilson. He's gone. Anyone can take it the distance anytime they touch the football.
It's true, and not only that, they're also able to just rely on each other and rely on their blocking. They have some beasts up front, and that's something that helps a lot, especially when you're just trying to pursue down the field and get those quick drives in. That's all that matters, really.
Well, it's a similar script if you're a Warriors fan. We're going to start the third quarter with the continuous clock in effect. They carry a lead of 35-plus points into the locker room. The score, Covenant Christian 42 and Indianapolis Crispus Attucks 40. We're to the halftime show. We'll be back with some Indiana high school football scores across the state. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Hello, my name is Sean Kroll, and I've been a part of the Indiana SRN family for the last 9 years. Last year, we streamed a record 326 sporting events around Central Indiana. All the other guys broadcast basketball and football, but we at Indiana SRN also air volleyball, softball, baseball, and even golf. But we need your help. To continue our mission, please help us by contacting Coach at indianasrn.org. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
He spent 4 years in the program. His career highlight was a 42-yard field goal versus Tinley in the sectionals. His favorite memory is beating Heritage his sophomore year. Jackson's other activities include basketball. His favorite class is English 12. His future aspirations are to attend college to study psychology. Number 10, senior Jackson Green. Next up, number 15, Brian Lomax. Brian's parents are Brian Lomax Sr., also Patricia Smith and Hugh Smith. He spent 2 years in the program. His career highlight is recording 8 interceptions last season. Brian's favorite memory is getting his first interception. His other activities include basketball and track. Favorite class is BTS 3, and his future aspirations are to study mechanical engineering. Brian BJ Lomax, number 15. Next up, number 17, senior Trey Platt. Trey's parents are Scott and Michelle Platt. It's his 4th year in the program. His career highlight is stripping a strip touchdown against Traders Point in his sophomore year. Favorite memory, winning sectionals in basketball junior year. Of course, his other activities do include basketball. His favorite class, freshman PE with his dad. His future aspirations are to play basketball in college. Number 17, Trey Black. Next up, senior number 19, Adrian Terry. Adrian's parents are Alan Terry and Evie Davis. It's his 2nd year in the program. His career highlight is his first career pick 6 versus Rushville. That was last week. Favorite memory, going undefeated sophomore year. His other activities include track and field. His favorite class is English 12. Number 19, Terry. And next up, senior number 23, Paige Coffey. Page's parents are Steve and Sarah Coffey. It's his 4th year in the program. Page's career highlight is a pick 6 versus Lutheran last year. His favorite memory is Beating Heritage his sophomore year. Other activities include track. His favorite class is Intro to Engineering. Page's future aspirations are to attend Purdue University to study aeronautical engineering. Number 23, Paige Coffey. Up next, senior number 24, Jay Wright. Jay's parents are Samuel and Letitia Wright. It's his 2nd year in the program. His career highlight is starting varsity during his 1st year of playing. Favorite memory, scoring a touchdown against Oldenburg. His other activities include track and field. His favorite class is history. Jay's aspirations are to attend a trade school and work in forex trading. Number 24, Jay Wright. Up next, number 27, senior Alex Holman. Alex's parents are Michael and Sarah Bridgman. It's his 3rd year in the program. His career highlight was Beating Heritage with his brother. Favorite memory going undefeated sophomore year. Alex's other activities include baseball. His favorite class is student publications. His future aspirations are to attend college to study digital media and play football. Number 27, Alex Holman. Next up, senior number 44, Caleb Hurst. Caleb's parents are Neil and Jill Hurst. It's his 3rd year in the program. His career highlight is God using his injuries to become a true teammate and friend to others. Favorite memory, scoring a 40-yard touchdown after getting his pants pulled down versus Tinley. His other activities include basketball and track. Favorite class is Bible and fitness. And his future aspirations are to study physical therapy and kinesiology. Number 44, Caleb Brooks. And up next, number 52, Jerron McDuffie. Parents Lee McDuffie and brother Aaron McDuffie are with Jerron. Jerron spent 2 years in the program. His career highlight is causing a fumble and recovering it against Rushville. Favorite memory, getting to play with his friends. Other activities include track and field. His favorite class is lunch. Jerron's future aspirations are to become a pediatric psychiatrist. Number 52, Jerron McDuffie. And up next, number 80, senior Ty Gossel. His parents are Andy and Laura Gossel. It's his 4th year in the program. His career highlight is an undefeated football season his sophomore year. Favorite memory is lifting over the winter and prepping for this season with a great group of teammates. His other activities include baseball, NHS, and DECA. Favorite class, advanced fitness and conditioning. Ty's future aspirations are to attend college and play baseball. Number 80, senior Ty Gossel. Our team would not be complete without our managers, so we will recognize our senior managers as well. First up, Olivia Free. Olivia's parents are Brian and Vivian Free. It's her 1st year in the program. Favorite memory, all of them. Other activities include basketball and theater. Her favorite class is choir. Olivia's future aspirations are to either attend college and become a teacher or go to trade school for welding. Olivia Free. And up next is Amelia Lampin. Amelia's parents are Jim and Jen Lampin. Her 1st year in the program. Her favorite memory, watching the young guns play. Other activities include soccer and boys basketball as a manager. Her favorite class is forensics. Her future aspirations are to attend college and study forensics. Amelia Lampin. And finally, Liz Perry. Liz's parents are Kathy Perry, a Crispus student program. Liz's favorite memory is having the opportunity to help friends and classmates. Her other activities include basketball and tennis. Liz's favorite class is English. Her future aspirations are to study speech pathology. Liz Perry. And now one more round of applause for all of our seniors in the football program.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Welcome back to Indiana SRN's coverage of Covenant Christian Warriors football. Shane Ryder alongside my partner Joey Lindstrom, Casey Pierce in our Indiana SRN studios located on the northeast side of Indianapolis. And Sarah Watson out running our cameras tonight. A big first half for Covenant Christian. They lead at 42-0. We'll dive into some of their scoring drives here in a moment. Let's take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard. Shenandoah leads Centerville 7-0 there, just underway into the third quarter, 21-2. Got a safety for Sullivan and the Golden Arrows, but they trailed the Northview Knights 21-2. That game also in the third quarter. Springs Valley now leads 7-6 over Paoli. The Blackhawks led 7-0 at halftime, but it's now a 7-6 score. Springs Valley still leads. They're just up by a point now into the third quarter. Lewis Cass leads Benton Central 13-7. They're in the third quarter. Martinsville, they trail Greenwood and the Woodmen 21-14. That game in the third quarter. Cardinal Ritter up 14-7 over Brebeuf Jesuit. That's a third quarter game as well. Scrolling down as our scoreboard refreshed. Mooresville up 27-7 on Plainfield. The big score that you noticed, Joey, at half. Same as ours, 42-0. Westfield leads Zionsville. Shamrocks over the Eagles. That game still at halftime. North Central up 7-0 on Warren Central. That game at the half. Batesville leads South Dearborn 24-0 at the break, and Central Catholic up on Northwestern by that exact same margin at halftime. The Knights lead the Tigers 24-0. Fisher 7, Noblesville 0. That game at the break as well. Eastern leads Delphi 24-0 at halftime. Silver Creek 35, and the Providence Pioneers 0. That game at the half. Decatur Central 21, Whiteland 7, Tell City 7, Forest Park 0. North Montgomery leads Southmont 12-6. West Central 14-13 over Tri-County. That game into the third quarter as well. And Linton Stockton leads Monrovia 24-8. That game has not yet reached halftime. We are just about set to get underway in the third quarter. Talked about the length of the scoring drives in terms of how many plays it took for Covenant Christian to march down the field. They had 5 offensive scoring drives and then a pick 6 defensively by Adrian Terry. Their first scoring drive, 4 plays, 61 yards in under a minute and a half. The big play on that drive went to Adrian Terry, 49 yards through the air. Frazier to Terry on a first down and 15. Gage Coffey had a 2-yard run, and then B.J. Lomax, a 15-yard touchdown catch from Austin Frazier. Lomax, a couple of scores last week. He got back into the end zone to make it 7-0 Covenant Christian. Their next scoring drive was their longest in terms of plays. Took them 8 plays. They marched 54 yards downfield. The long plays on that drive, a 19-yard catch by B.J. Lomax, and then a 19-yard run by Micah Wilson. They got down inside the red zone, and then it was Gage Coffey with his first rushing touchdown of the year to make it 13-0. Then after a kickoff where Indianapolis Crispus Attucks got it out to their own 30-yard line, first down and 10, it was a pick 6. Caleb Davenport threw the pick. It was picked off by Terry, who sprinted the opposite direction for 6, and then a 2-point conversion. Frazier to senior Trey Flatt made it 21-0 after quarter number 1. We got into quarter number 2. First offensive series for Covenant Christian went 6 plays, 66 yards. That made it 28-0. The long plays on that drive, an 18-yard run by Gage Coffey, then a 15-yard rush by Micah Wilson. 2 carries later, Wilson danced 34 yards, sprinted through that Crispus Attucks defense for his first score of the night and his 6th touchdown of the season. That made it 28-0. Didn't wait long for touchdown number 7. The next scoring drive for Covenant Christian, a 23-yard touchdown carry by Micah Wilson, made it 35-0. And then they got the ball on the right side of the field, had to go just 44 yards, and it only took them 2 plays. A 4-yard rush by Trey Flatt set up a 2nd down and 6. And then Adrian Terry, 40 yards through the air, caught a little hook route over the middle, had enough for the first down, but he wanted much more than that and raced around the Crispus Attucks defenders to get into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the night and first offensively. That got us to our halftime score of 42-0. It was the Warriors who started with the football, so they will kick things off here to get the third quarter going, and we will have a continuous clock in effect, something Covenant Christian has been quite accustomed to here on the early going in 2020.
They sure have, and not only that, they've also become very comfortable being in front too, and they know how to react to that as well. And they're not afraid of that. They're not fazed by that. They're just going to keep going. They're going to keep running their stuff. They're going to keep passing. I don't see that Covenant Christian's really going to take the wheels off, at least for the third quarter.
Yeah, we'll see how long they stick with their senior-led offense and defense. In each of their last 2 games, we've seen sophomore Tony Flatt take over at quarterback. You'll see Brad Nardi probably get some action in the backfield running the football. And they'll start to utilize those underclassmen, but they're no strangers to getting some varsity action. We just brought up 2 kids that start on the defensive side of the ball. They'll just get a chance to carry the ball, maybe throw the ball a few times and try and score some touchdowns themselves.
Yes, they will. It's going to be fun. We'll have to see some guys be able to finally get in and just get their reps and show what they're made of.
Brew with a low line drive kick. Down inside the 10, it's caught at the 7-yard line by Antoine Hicks. He's out across the 20-yard line and carried back to the grass So a nice return out across the 20-yard line. Crispus Attucks will get things going here in the third quarter. If you're head coach Ramon Stallings, what was your halftime message? Because really from the get-go, it was all Covenant Christian.
Yeah, I think what Coach Stallings' main message has to be, right, is got to be that they're unfundamentally sound in that first half. They were making mistakes in lineups. They were not in position, snapping balls over the head. It's just little things that we talked about in the beginning. They not only matter, they make all the difference, really. And Crispus Attucks last week, obviously 46-14 as a final. You had things going right. You obviously had a lot of things going on. You had Davenport running around, and it just seems like instead of running around for fun, he's running around for his life.
He really is. And it's tough to do against this Covenant Christian defense that when they've got their starters on the field, they have yet to allow a point. First handoff here in quarter number 3 is going to be a loss of about 6 or 7 yards. They had it spotted at the 29, and I don't think the ball carrier got back to the 25-yard line. It's going to be a loss of 6, maybe 7 yards there.
There was too much outside pressure on that play, and it was far too easy to swallow it up for Covenant Christian.
That was number 4, Anthony Hicks, the ball carrier there.
Talked about that senior leadership too out of the defensive backs and being able to lead those linebackers in the middle. And Nardi's done a great job of being able to be in the middle and be that captain on that defense, commanding everybody. And as he even teases the blitz there.
See senior Adrian Terry already with a pick 6 tonight. Davenport keeps it himself that time in the quarterback read, but maybe the wrong decision there. I don't know if there was a right decision. You had Covenant Christian defenders in the backfield again, and they lose some more yardage there, so now they're back inside their own 20. The kickoff return went out to the 29, but just 2 plays into this drive, already a loss of 10 yards, and now you've got 3rd down and 20.
Yeah, that was just a typical read option play, but Nardi, again, I mean, he was right in there, and he from that outside linebacker position, he's been teasing all night that he wants the blitz, and he finally does, and it obviously worked out for him.
Back to either side of Davenport, 3rd and 20. Backs against the wall for Crispus Attucks. Davenport will keep it himself, able to get it outside on the far sideline. Lowers the shoulder, and it's a nice gain. Gets a big chunk on 3rd and 20, and now if you're the Tigers, do you think about going for it here? You're down 42, continuous clock in effect. You got to try and get that thing to stop at some point.
You might as well. Looks like they're going to punt, but I think you're too far in your end zone, in your own zone. You want to have your defense maybe make a statement. I think that from a coach's perspective, I think going for it a 4th down from right here maybe shows that you're not confident in your defense's ability. So you want to keep that up. Maybe try going for it later.
See if Crispus Attucks punts it away here. Noah Brimage takes the low snap, able to get it off. It's just going to be a high punt. Lomax is going to let that bounce and get away from it. Takes a Tigers bounce inside the Covenant Christian 40-yard line down to the 39. So Covenant Christian will take the field now, bring their high-powered offense back out near midfield. They've had some excellent field position tonight. I'm going off the top of my head. I think the worst starting position they had was their own 34-yard line.
I think you're right. I think you're spot on. But also they've had what's going on here? Are they punting? You know, normally you don't see a 1st down punt.
We've got a flag now and a delay of game. Trying to see what's going on here. Maybe there's a senior that they're trying to get onto the field. Oh, I think it was bringing some seniors off. You had Micah Wilson and Alex Coleman coming off. Maybe it was more of a changing of the guards.
I was going to say that's an interesting trick. Try to do a little bit of trickeration there, as somebody from SportsCenter would say, to try to punt on 1st down or a lace line up in it. But it looks like it was just trying to get some guys in the field.
So they sent off Wilson and Coleman. You still have some seniors on the field with Frazier, Flat. You see Terry and Lomax jog out to the top of your screen. Jackson Brew the lone receiver to the right of Frazier. Gage Coffey in the backfield, also a senior. We rattle off the skill positions, and every single one of them playing their last year of high school football. The handoff goes to Coffey this time. He's going to try the left side, picks up 5. He's spinning through some tackles, and now carrying 5 or 6 Crispus Attucks defenders all the way out across midfield. So they go from the 35-yard line all the way out to about the 46, maybe the 47.
He made it easily out of his opposing
Attucks
territory. He said, "Come on, everybody, I'm going to take you for a ride." That was good. Great job by Coffey there to just hit the hole hard and never stop looking forward and keeping his legs moving. The easiest thing for running back to do sometimes is just give up their legs like that, and he did not.
That's a gain of 18 for Coffey. And now you got Michael Wilson back in the game to the left of Frazier. 3 receiver formation. Trey Flatt the up back. Frazier the hard count, hands it off to Wilson. Tries the middle. Able to fight for 4 or 5 yards. Gets down across the 45. Spotted at the 43-yard line, so it is a gain of 5.
Swallowed up easily by Vance Ricks there, but from the Tiger defense.
2nd and 5. It's a long 5 for Covenant Christian. No hurry for this offense now. They know they can score at pretty much any moment. Kind of see the frustration on BJ Lomax when he came out of that huddle. He's not going to get his number called.
Yeah.
I think he was spinning out like, oh, it's another run.
Great, at the block again.
Back to either side of Frazier. Hard count, they go to Wilson. He's going to bounce it out to the right side. Might have a hold on the edge there by Lomax. There's the power again by Wilson. No laundry on the field. See that right arm of Lomax as he tried to seal off the edge, but no flag was thrown, and it's a gain for Wilson, another first down.
I love the way Michael Wilson uses his vision to anticipate his next step, and he also does a great job of just reading his blocks and just trusting his teammates too. That was an excellent run by Wilson to get that first down.
Wilson went up over 100 yards a week ago. We'll have to tally up his carries here. I've got him for 20 on that second offensive series. 54, 53, 68. Doing math on air, that's a bad thing. 60, 83. 83 and 15. What's that? 98. He needs 2 yards. Frazier deep down the sideline to Brew. Goes up over the defender, but cannot haul in the catch. That was great coverage and a great effort by Jackson Brew.
That was great coverage again by Michael Dye. He had another play earlier in the first half where he followed the ball really, really well and broke it up. And I think that time again, I think he just
was ISO with Brew
hand.
both times. Yeah.
Yeah, was it? Okay, there you go. So, I mean, obviously Brew wants he's trying to win his one-on-one battle, which is great. But Dye not letting up. Great play.
So even with the incompletion, the clock still winds. Again, 35 or more point lead for either side puts that continuous clock into effect. You can stall that and get it back to a normal clock situation if you can get it to 34 or less, but Crispus Attucks a 3-and-out on their first offensive series. Frazier ducks under a sack attempt, and he overshoots his intended receiver, Brew. He had a man. It was nice pocket presence and awareness there by Frazier, but a little bit too much mustard on that one.
Yeah, I couldn't tell there if Brew maybe underran his route or what have you because he thought he was in a short field, but you just got to run it as true as you can, and I think that's maybe what messed Frazier up. And as soon as he stepped in the did a great job of stepping up in the pocket. I think it's the first time that he's had to do that all game. And now that the Tigers got that pressure, that was great. And we obviously had a holding call to back him up even a little more.
Yep, so we had a holding call in the backfield. And that spots the ball right at midfield. They've tried to get it to Jackson Brew, a senior, a couple of times here on senior night. Trying to get him with his first touchdown of the season, but Frazier, his first ball to him, a 50-50 ball, and Brew could not win the battle. And now that one, even if he had caught it, would have been wiped off the scoreboard because of the penalty. 3 receivers set. Frazier in shotgun, Wilson to his right. He'll hand it off to Wilson. He's going to try the left side this time. Bounces it once, bounces it twice. Now he's down the far sideline and runs out of bounds. So he gets a nice gain there after the penalty. Definitely got all the penalty yardage back, Joey.
Yeah, oh yeah. And it seems like Frazier, every time he gets the ball, it's just something good's going to happen. I don't think he's had a negative play yet today. Maybe one. Maybe a stuffer, 1 yard gain or what have you, but every time, and he immediately comes off. He seems humble. He seems like he's like, you know what? When I get my carries, I'm gonna make the most of them.
That rush right there definitely got Wilson over the 100-yard mark. I had him at 98, so tack on 13 there from the 50 to the 37.
And it can be hard too, transferring in your senior year, and you want to be able to make the most of it. Obviously, Michael Wilson has. And 7 touchdowns in 3 games. That's impressive.
4 receivers set this time. Frazier back to pass. Fires it deep up the middle. This time he's got number 23. That's Gage Coffey on the receiving end. So coming out of the backfield, they split him out, and Coffey separates to pick up his first receiving touchdown of the season and his second of the night.
That was a strike seam concept. He probably had what they call mirror routes, where routes on opposite side of the field look exactly the same. And then the running back, in this case Coffey, just runs right up the middle. So hopefully no one would see him. Obviously he had a man on him and he made a great play on the ball. And Frazier too, hit as he threw. That was really impressive.
And put it right on the numbers. Coffey able to separate from his defensive back. And that's a nice way to cap off the third quarter as you see triple zeros on our clock. Low snap, a little bit of miscommunication. The kicker, Jackson Brew, never ran up on it. The holder went to put it back down on the grass, and Brew never came to kick it. So then he just got swallowed up by the guys coming in to block it.
I don't think Nardi's held all day. I think he was new, and maybe they just want to keep the consistency and have Frazier hold.
So it's 48-0 Covenant Christian, a scoring drive to close out the third quarter. 37 yards through the air. Austin Frazier to Gage Coffey, and it's a 48-0 Warriors lead. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Life comes at you fast, so it's important to have some help along the way.
Ah, my favorite patient. My favorite patient.
When the dust settles, it doesn't always end as anticipated. Embrace the journey and care for the ones around you.
My favorite patient.
For everything else and every stage in between,
my favorite patient.
Methodist Sports Medicine is here for you.
Watch Indiana SRN any game, anytime on their YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com, download the YouTube app, any mobile device, use your laptop, you name it. Indiana SRN has it. And you can watch all these reruns of Covenant Christian football right there on that YouTube page. Just hit the subscribe button. That'll give you all the notifications of when new games are uploaded. If you're a high school senior, these are the memories you hang on to, especially if there's no post-senior season for you. If you're not going to play college football like you did yourself, those are the last memories you hang on to.
That's right. You always
under the Friday night lights.
Yep. You always want to be able to go all out on your senior night. It's special.
See Micah Wilson trying to blow up the defender there.
There you go.
And that's Antoine Hicks, another nice return. If there has been a couple of bright spots tonight for Crispus Attucks, I would say the punts from Noah Brimage. He's put his leg into a couple of them that have probably carried 40, maybe 50 yards through the air. And then some nice returns as well from Antoine Hicks. He did have the one that he juggled and had to cover up inside their own 10-yard line. But other than that, they've had a number of these drives, 30, 35-yard line here, where they've been in good field position to start these offensive series.
They really have. Starting at 35 is a great opportunity for you to do something really good. And I think that Davenport's going to have an opportunity to show stuff here in the final quarter. Hopefully Crispus Attucks can get that going.
Got a late substitution. Guy maybe from the kickoff coverage team. That was number 66, Matt Abernethy, hustling off the field. But a lot of seniors out there on that defense, maybe wanting to put the finishing touches on this shutout they have intact so far. Davenport back to pass, fires over the middle.
There it is.
Going up to get it, and that ball is caught. That's number 10 for Crispus Attucks. Keisham Cox, just a sophomore, listed at 6'1", $170. But that's a heck of a grab by Cox, the underclassman. And they go from the 35 down to the 37, maybe the 38 of Covenant Christian in just one play.
That was great separation, and what Cox did really, really well there was go up and get it. He didn't have to wait for that ball to go get to him, and Davenport put it in the only spot that he could get it. Great confidence boost for these guys.
Yeah, if you're looking for a little momentum to carry into week number 4, and what would be week 3, I guess, for Crispus Attucks. Davenport breaks the pocket this time and has to pick up minimal yardage to his left. Gets 2 and down to the 35. But they need some momentum. They hung 46 points last week against Gary Westside. So you know this offense has it in them. But we don't know. We didn't see the tape of that game. We don't know what kind of football team Gary Westside has. So maybe the level of opponent factored in. Who knows? But at least on paper coming into this game, we definitely expected a much closer game than the score you're looking right now on the bottom of your screen.
I think Covenant Christian just came into this game knowing that Crispus Attucks was going to come out and they were going to do what they could. So Covenant Christian had a great attitude to try to stop him, and I think that what Davenport's showing now is probably what he showed last week, which we weren't able to see.
Davenport pump fakes, slips around a Covenant Christian defender and dances out for what looks like a first down. They got their best athlete at quarterback, and he shows off his athleticism there, and he does pick up a first down. So Caleb Davenport, the senior quarterback for the Tigers, trying to make the most of what could be one of their last few offensive possessions. Ball spotted at the 26-yard line. Take a look at the schedule of Covenant Christian as well. They wrap up this week. Next week, they go to Indianapolis, Washington. That's a road game. It's their first road game of the season. So we'll see how that factors in. And then they're back home on September 18th against Tinley High School.
Tough for a pass here.
It's a high snap. Davenport gathers, keeps it himself after faking the handoff. Able to wrestle around a couple of defenders, and now we've got a Covenant Christian defender on the field. I'm not sure what happened, if someone is laying on their back. I did not see a number. Tried to see what happened. I didn't know if it was a leg. Maybe got the wind knocked out of him, but all of the Attucks team, both on the sideline and on the field, are going to drop to a knee right now as trainers tend to the downed warrior out on the field. So we're going to take a timeout. Clock stops at 7:52. Covenant Christian leads it 48-0 over Crispus Attucks. We'll be right back here on Indiana SRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
So it looks like the player is off on the sideline now. Still didn't get a number. Got second down and 9. Davenport keeps himself and picks up another first down with his legs.
Second time in this drive that he's been able to flush out, and that's, or third time actually. And he does a great job of just like seeing the field as is, and he sees those linebackers hop out of there. And typically in the 4-3, all those linebackers are going to jump back into like a comfort hook zone. And so they're going to try to defend everything underneath. And so he sees the space, and he goes and takes it.
And if you're Covenant Christian, you're obviously content maybe with this lead at this point. You've got some reserves in the ball game now. Trying to get some underclassmen some experience here on senior night. As we wind down near the halfway point of quarter number 4. 4 receiver set for Davenport. He's in shotgun with the tailback behind him. Going to fake the handoff and keep it himself. Tries the left side, thinks otherwise, and now tries to bounce it right. Gets a nice block, runs over a defender. Now swarm tackled by Covenant Christian.
Gotta give
and
it to
after
Davenport.
all of that, he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ton of heart. He's showing it. Looks like he's getting beat up. I mean, this kid's got. You can definitely tell he's the leader of the team. That's for sure. And we saw him earlier, even in the first quarter, when his guys maybe weren't set. He was trying to get him going. He was trying to get him in the right spot, yelling at him, but yelling in a good way, yelling in a good teammate way. He's obviously got it, and so he's going to try to take this game. He's not going to let him get shut out.
So he does pick up 3 yards with that carry. Probably ran about 40 yards to get those 3, but nevertheless a positive gain and showing some heart here with his team down big. DeAndre Harrington, the running back, who steps up to Davenport's left. 4 receivers set. Davenport takes the snap, fires it out to the right side. It's picked off and heading the other way. I think that is, I saw a 3. Is that 31?
31.
That's 31. Will Lyons, a junior cornerback, with the interception. So just when it looked like Crispus Attucks might finally get on the scoreboard, how about that? The reserve step up and keep the shutout intact.
That was great. Way to step up. And they were just in a cover 2 hot zone, and they were able to obviously obey their discipline, and he read the receiver really well. Good play by Lyons. A good return too. I think he got so excited he saw Pater, but Davenport wasn't going to let that happen.
No, he saw one go back already tonight.
Yeah,
wasn't going to let a second one. We've got a timeout on the field. Clock stops at 5:08. We'll see some reserves come in for the Covenant Christian offense. We'll step aside. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Hello, my name is Sean Kroll, and I've been a part of the Indiana SRN family for the last 9 years. Last year, we streamed a record 326 sporting events around Central Indiana. All the other guys broadcast basketball and football, but we at Indiana SRN also air volleyball, softball, baseball, and even golf. But we need your help. To continue our mission, please help us by contacting Coach at indianasrn.org. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
So the Covenant Christian offense will take the field. I think we will see backup quarterback Tony Flatt come into the game. I see number 12 in the huddle. I see Brad Nardi as well. He's number 11 to the right.
Tony Flatt making a big difference making a big difference as a Mike linebacker.
Yeah, for sure.
Today on defense. Not blitzing too much, but commanding it. Him and Nardi both.
So you're going to have Tony Flatt come out and take the snaps. Now you've got Brad Nardi in the backfield, trying to make out that number to Flatt's right. A couple of sophomores that have seen a lot of time from their respective linebacker positions tonight. Now the backups go with the hard count. And that time it works again in favor of Covenant Christian. So that is 4 offsides penalties tonight for Indianapolis Crispus Attucks. And that is one thing you talked about at halftime and even in postgame when their head coach Ramon Stallings talks to his 23 varsity players. A lot of these mistakes are self-inflicted wounds.
So correctable. We used to say in college they're called the TNTs, the ones that take no talent. You know, it's just lining up where you're supposed to be, not jumping off sides, being able to just run your routes or read your whatever. Those take no talent. It's the stuff that is athletic and what have you. That takes talent, obviously. So do the things that are very controllable. Think about those, you know.
It's the first down carry for number 31. It was Will Lyons with the carry. He just had the interception, second for Davenport tonight. And now Tony Flatt in shotgun with Nardi to his left. 3 receivers set with an up back. Second down and 4 for Covenant Christian.
I don't think those two leave their
Flatt
side.
is back to pass. There's a nice pass over the middle, but too strong. Intended for number 27, Alex Coleman.
I think you just need to get that one time to develop. I think he got excited. Coach called a pass.
Coach said, "Hey, you're going deep."
Yeah, Coach called a pass, and I think Flatt just was just like, "Oh, okay, let's go." And so he got a little antsy, and that's okay.
So that brings up third down and 4 now for Covenant Christian. Ball on the 44-yard line of the Tigers. 3 consecutive home games for Covenant Christian, all of them at Zionsville West Middle School. And no inclement weather on any of the Friday nights so far, as rough as 2020 has been for everyone. That is one bright spot. No precipitation, nothing but clear skies and good temperatures. The handoff goes to Brad Nardi that time, who swings it around the right side and picks up a first down. Nardi gets 9.
It's a great way of just being able to put your shoulder down and get some extra yardage by Nardi. And quick out there, too.
Nardi's first carry of the night. That gets us under 3 minutes here in the final quarter. Covenant Christian is going to move to 3-0 in as many games. Crispus Attucks is going to fall back to 500 after a win last week. They will sit at 1-1 on the young season. Flat and shotgun. Back to either side. They go back to Nardi again, who works his way out for 2 yards there.
That was a great fill by Attucks. I think one thing that they've done really well is, while they've not been able to handle the outside zones too well, they have been able to handle inside zones. Those little dinks right in the middle, you know. And I think that in a 3-4 defense, typically the opposite happens. But at least they're confident enough that they know that they can stop anything up the middle.
Yeah, they've stopped it. Like you just mentioned, they've stopped most of everything up the middle. You've got the 3-4 scheme to contain and protect the edges. We've seen Covenant Christian, what they can do on the outside. They get it to Micah Wilson. You see the speed of this offense. It's a dynamic offense. They run a lot of 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, but even in those situations, they have no problem handing it off to Gage Coffey or Micah Wilson, and those guys have had a ton of success carrying tonight. There's another sweep, and you see him get around the outside. It's Brad Nardi who gets blasted down inside the 20-yard line. Defender's a little fired up there as Nardi got popped, but not after a big gain of about 20 yards. A little hobbled up, and that's the last thing you want to see, especially for a starting linebacker on a defense that has been lights out tonight.
That's right, and I mean, what a great run by Nardi there. That was pretty excellent, and looks like they're
seniors coming in for one more play.
Probably ready to take that knee.
Victory formation. 1 or 2 knees here for Covenant Christian. Will
good plays by the reserves.
Yeah, definitely. They picked up. See, they started that at about the 44-yard line. Got it down inside the red zone. I think we're just going to have one snap for Covenant Christian, and that's going to get us to the end of tonight's ball game. Bunch of seniors back out on the field. Austin Frazier takes a knee, hands it to the head referee. And Covenant Christian, a complete game effort again. 52-14 in week 1, 68-6 a week ago. And head coach Dan Giedel has to love what he's seeing from his football team, led by 12 seniors here on senior night. And they knock off Crispus Attucks by a final score of 48-0. So just 6 points in the second half for the Warriors, but this game was over at halftime. Joey, your thoughts here on tonight's ball game?
Yep, it was over pretty quick. We thought that Crispus Attucks was really going to come out and show out pretty immediately on their first drive, and it just seemed like once they didn't do that, Covenant Christian said, you know what, all right, let's go. They were ready to go. They came out in their first drive, 4 plays, touchdown right away. Frazier, dropping balls in the bucket, and it was really, really well done by Covenant Christian that first half, and it was pretty much over right after the first quarter.
So 3 touchdown passes for Austin Frazier. He came in with 7 touchdowns and no picks on the season. He picks up 3 more through the air tonight. Threw for 15 touchdown passes in 11 games a year ago. He's already got 10. We're not even halfway through the season.
10's a good amount for your first 3 weeks, huh? And especially in your senior year, you want to go out with a bang. That's the way to do it.
We were wondering what the rushing touchdown record might be when Micah Wilson tacked on touchdowns 6 and 7 on the young season for the tailback, a senior transfer from Ho, Indianapolis, but he's got 7 touchdowns. Austin Frazier with 10. We saw B.J. Lomax get back in the end zone again to get tonight's scoring going. Gage Coffey into the end zone for the first time this season. He had a long touchdown catch as well. That was the final score for the Warriors. Just another complete game effort. We can talk about the offense all we want, but the defense is as good as advertised too.
It really, really is. They're able, in that 4-3 scheme, we talked about it all game. You want to be able to get hard pressure from your front forward defensive line, and they got that. Their linebackers are in control. Coming to Christian, really looking strong for the rest of their campaign, and not only that, they're also looking like they're doing it in style.
Yeah, they're into the top 10, and that ranking might improve after tonight's performance. Joey, I appreciate you coming in the studios tonight.
Thanks,
Stepping in for color as our head coach, Keith Myers, took a little breather tonight. We had Casey Pierce running tonight's broadcast, and our camera woman out at Zionsville West Middle School, Sarah Watson. Thank you for all of your hard work. We thank our viewers for tuning in here on Indiana SRN. Covenant Christian 3-0 on the young season. Again, tonight's final score, 48-0. We'll be back at it next Friday night, 6:45 at the pregame show, 7 o'clock kickoff. First road test for Covenant Christian. They travel to Indianapolis, Washington. Thank you for tuning in to Warriors Football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Last one. 989-6610. 6610.